Small Z update. We actually figured out the distributor issue, and that should hopefully be fixed by this week. Hopefully in the next video after this one you guys see the car will be running, so that's hopefully a win. Now I figured, since we're still in this weird spot, I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. We're kind of stuck right now. We have 2 weeks left until our turbo gaskets from the Type R come. We're still waiting on the part for the 280Z behind the camera right here so we can start the car. And our other really big build, which we have and is gonna be the WRX, can't move until one of these cars gets off the lift. So right now we're in this just weird limbo spot. Kind of sucks, but also things are getting done just at a slower pace because parts aren't readily available. Hopefully you guys get it. I'm sure those of you that work on cars and are dealing with builds understand the parts supply chain thing right now is absolutely crazy. We're working with it and I'm very stoked to actually have this car be complete. It is absolutely sick. So I figured it's almost Christmas time. I mean, geez, look at that. Yeah, great Christmas tree in the shop. It's blowing my mind to even say that we're like less than a week away from Christmas. In 2023, it's crazy. And next year is even busier for me somehow, which makes no sense. But to start this week out, let's go ahead and do an awesome end of the year Q&A / recap of just everything because we have gotten so much stuff done this year. This is the most that we have ever gotten done on this channel ever. So many cars, so many builds that have just been sitting for a while. Everything has really gotten done and is like running in here, which is actually crazy. I mean, think about the GTR. That was down as long as the 280Z was, and then now the 280Z is about to run. It's just been a crazy year, and I hope you guys really enjoyed everything that we've done this year. It's been a crazy ride. I mean, from going back to Japan for the first time in 3 years, from getting the cars running to all the amazing builds that we had, to all the places we've traveled. It's been really insane. So as I do, I went on Instagram and asked you guys to ask me some questions that I can answer on here. So we have a ton of really amazing questions, and I figured let's start our week out on something fun. Let's do a Q&A. Let's just start it off with a banger here, and that would be Sumo Hulk asks, what is the one car that hurt the most when selling it? And I think everybody knows what this one is, and it was my first Evo, the white Evo. That was my love and my baby. But again, like, I got that car to the point where it literally did nothing for me anymore, and it was time to move on to something bigger and better, which we have the Tokyo Drift Evo right behind us. But that car was the first car that I truly did everything on my own. Purchased on my own, figured out on my own, had to trade the first one back that I got because it was a rust bucket. Like that whole car had its own story in itself, and it was really amazing. And if you guys haven't seen that old white Evo, maybe you're a newer viewer or whatever, go back in my channel and check out my first Evo ever. It had so many phases, from the gray to the crazy livery that I modeled after this specific car, to then the white, to then, you know, what we have now. It's pretty insane, but the Evo was definitely the hardest car for me to let go of. Okay, I've been getting a ton of these, and there's one that people keep asking me about all the time, and that is update on the NSX in Japan. This one's a tough one because obviously it's in Japan, and Japan is a very, very different place. The last thing that you guys saw on the NSX that I found abandoned in Tokyo, we left a note with my number, email, information. We want to buy the car and all of that stuff. And we left the note on the car, and I never heard anything back since then. Masa and I even went back to the NSX my last trip to Japan, and the note was gone, but the car was still there. And still dusty, still everything. So I don't know if somebody else ripped the note off or maybe the owner saw it. Who knows? I have no idea. But either way, no one contacted us. We haven't heard anything from the car. And honestly, guys, I think the car might just live there forever. And by the way, and another ton of questions I get here is, when am I going back to Japan? I go back to Japan in January for Auto Salon, and we have a ton of really cool plans. It's gonna be a shorter trip because I have something massive planned later on in the year, which you guys will find out then, but I will be back in January. Let's get a little bit deeper here. Owen asks, how am I so motivated? I think that's really just a mindset thing. Ever since I was a kid, I kind of knew what I wanted and what I wanted to do, and that no matter whatever it was, like, no one was gonna stop me from doing that. And if you're having trouble being motivated on something, in my personal opinion, I don't think you want it enough, because no matter how many times you fall, how many obstacles go in your way, if you want it enough, you will keep pushing and keep being motivated to reach whatever goal, reach whatever you want. And you need to be in that mindset of saying nothing can stop. And that's just kind of how I've been my whole life. And it still carries on to now. There's so many goals and so many achievements that I want, and nothing is going to stop me. I mean, look at this place. It's insane. And yes, we've reached this amazing goal and have a ton of amazing cars in here, but still, I'm very, very proud, but I'm not satisfied. I know we can do more. I know we can do better. And that's what I always strive for. And that's what motivates me. So we have another build question. Ricky says, okay, we know you're into the race cars, but when is the next Hot Boy build? And you know, the 86 is sort of a Hot Boy build. I mean, it's a little bit half and half. Once the 280Z moves off of this lift and once it starts, the WRX is pulling right over here and we're bringing that thing back and it's gonna be awesome. As longtime viewers of the channel, you guys know that that was like my first ever Hot Boy build, as my car show build. Since I was in Mississippi, I took that thing everywhere, and that was the first car that I ever like stance built. It's on bags, it's got massive work wheels. I mean, it is awesome. It's got the Veris front bumper, a wide body. It's really, really cool. And we plan on bringing that back, but just doing it better. Because right now it's like, it was built by me like 4 or 5 years ago, and it's stayed the same ever since. It needs to be updated, needs to be fine-tuned, like the bodywork needs to be redone. I mean, everything. It's just, it could be a lot better, and we're gonna bring it back, and that's gonna be the Hot Boy build. This goes right into what I was saying here. Favorite set of work wheels. I think the my favorite set of work wheels are the Work VSXXs, and I regret it so much. Before I moved here from Mississippi, I had the perfect set of Work VSXXs. I feel like this was my favorite stage of my WRX. I'll post a picture up here. We had the mild HT auto fender flares, and we had the perfect set of Work VSXs on the car, and the car just looked so amazing. But I knew I was moving to California. I was about to drive across the country. I needed cash to be able to live. So I sold those wheels and ended up driving all the way to California on the stock wheels, and I had the flares on. It was so bad back then, but I needed the money to move out here. So I sold my favorite pair of wheels. But like I keep saying, my favorite pair of work wheels have to be the VSXXs. They look amazing. Right now I have the Work Meisters, which also look really good, but the other ones are better in my opinion. Richard asks, when is the track day for the EGK swap? Again, we have 2 cars taking up the lifts. We still have to build an exhaust on the K-Series EG, and we also finally just got in our OEM hood and our front bumper because we needed new ones for this car. So once one of these gets off the lift, like I said, we have a ton to do. It's just these are being occupied. Tim's gonna actually weld us a custom exhaust for the car, and we're gonna put the new front end on, and it's ready to go rip. Man, this is such a hard question. Jay asks, what's my favorite car that I have so far? Oh my God, I don't even know how to choose that. When it's running properly, I think my favorite car is the R32 GTR. That was, if you guys watch the channel, that was my first real like dream car. The car that was like unobtainable for me back when I lived in Mississippi or whatever. A car that I never thought I would ever be able to have was the R32 GTR. And ever since I got that, it's been just my absolute baby. That was the car I took everywhere. We went on road trips with it. You know, we had it down for 2 or 3 years, whatever it was. And now it's this absolute monster. It's like my exact spec, my exact dream R32 GTR spec is sitting right in front of me, and we built it from just a stock car. And I think that one is my absolute favorite just because of the time and dedication that went into it. And it truly has every single piece of the puzzle that I would want in like my perfect R32 GTR. Besides like a Get Rag 6-speed or a sequential or something. But I have a bunch of questions asking what's the best car for beginners, what's the perfect first car, whatever. Honestly, and I've answered this a bunch of times, but honestly the best first car I feel like is a Honda Civic. I had a Honda Civic for my first car, and it was like the perfect learning car. There's so much available for it, and yes, a lot of it is like Ricer parts, but I mean, that's where we all start. I did all the Ricer stuff. I did all the stupid little stickers and badges, and I had horrible wheels to start out with. Like, that's just where you start. That's where you learn. And I think a Honda Civic, it's affordable. The parts are cheap. Like I said, there's a million things online for that car. And it's just like an easy beginner car. It's reliable. I would say Honda Civic. And they're still great cars, even if you're not a beginner. I mean, the Type R is, I like this one because, like I said at the beginning of the video, we do a lot of travel videos, we do a lot of adventure videos. Me and Tiana absolutely love to go on adventures. We love to travel together. We love to see different cultures, see different places, eat all kinds of foods. And Ricky asks, what's our next adventure gonna be? I think our next adventure is gonna be Iceland. We really wanna go to Iceland, see the glaciers, see the northern lights. We're gonna go right before winter starts, which is kind of the best time to see the northern lights. And I love like real hiking adventures. I love waterfalls, I love backpacking, I love camping. From everything that I've seen, Iceland has some of the most amazing waterfalls and amazing landscapes in the entire world, especially like the glacial caves. That is gonna be insane. So our next big trip, I think, is gonna be Iceland. Lots of Japan questions. You guys love Japan. I'll answer this one. Do you ever wanna buy a house in Japan? And I've said this before, yes, the goal for Tian and I is to have a house in Japan that we can go back and forth to. So buying property in Japan is very hard for a foreigner. So we've been working through the process, we've been looking, and we found out a couple of things, and we found a few places that we like. It's just a very long process. So our 5-year plan is to absolutely have a house in Japan that we're able to readily just go back and forth from, but we'll keep you guys updated on that. But for now, we're just gonna have fun traveling and staying in all kinds of different areas. When am I gonna get a Porsche? Guys, do me a favor. We have got to get to 1 million, because when we get to 1 million, it's either gonna be a Hako or it's gonna be a Porsche. But the thing is, I cannot buy either one until we hit 1 million. That's like, I told myself my goal, let's say it right now. Let's say it right now. The goal for 2023 is to hit 1 million subscribers. We're almost at 700K, which means once we get to 700, we only need 300 more. We can do that, right? We got this, but I need your help. So tell everybody that you know, your mom, your grandmom, your friends, I don't care, make another account. Hit that subscribe button, help us out, share the channel. We have a ton of amazing stuff going on, and you guys are not going to miss it, especially this coming year. So once we get to 1 million, Porsche GT3, Hako, they're coming to the channel. This is a pretty good one. What was it like learning to work on cars when you first started learning? And that's hilarious, because you know who taught me how to work on cars? Tim. I had no clue about anything working on cars. And when I really started learning was when I met Tim. He would actually sit down and teach me the technical aspects of things. But I mean, just like anybody, you know, it's just a thing that you kind of have to pick up and learn as you go. And it was fun. I think it's a lot of fun that way, because I learned as kind of a hobby and not for work, I guess. And that made it really fun to tinker with a bunch of different stuff. And that's why I think we have such a diverse garage here. We have so many different types and different styles of car, and it's just been really fun to learn each different one and kind of take a skill from one car and use it on the next one. I don't know, but when you first start out, you always love to do the little Ricer JDM stuff when you put different stickers. I mean, God, the stickers on my Civic, it was so bad. You guys have to go back in my videos and really watch my first ever videos and see the stuff that I would do to my car. Oh man, it's so funny to look back and think about that to where we are now. It really just puts things into perspective. It's crazy. Second to last one, we're gonna do C. Barnes asks, how did I get started with YouTube? Because he wants to get into car photography and videos. I actually didn't start YouTube doing car videos. I started YouTube doing like stupid little skits with my friends, which by the way are still on YouTube right now. It's absolutely hilarious. You guys will never be able to find them, by the way, but maybe one day I'll reveal it. I don't know yet. Making these stupidest skits with my friends. I loved film and filmmaking before I loved filming and, you know, modifying cars. Before I even had a car, I made videos. And it was gaming videos, it was videos with my friends, but funny enough, the movie Avatar really got me into wanting to be a filmmaker, cinematographer, director, editor, all of that stuff. I just loved making videos. I loved creating. And I did that with my friends. And I started doing that for school projects. My English teacher would actually let us, instead of writing a paper, me and my friends could create a film and show it to the class. And that was kind of in place of our grade for the paper. So that's how I got started making videos. And then when I was old enough, I got my first car and I was like, well, I'm modifying the car, let me just film what I'm doing on my car. And that's what started my YouTube channel, because I would always look at videos of exhausts on different cars or people modifying their different cars, and it was much different 12 years ago than it is now. There was no vlogs, there's nothing like that. It was just like a 30-second exhaust clip of somebody starting their car. So I decided to make my first video of a walk around of my Civic, which was like 2 minutes long, so funny. And from there, it just kind of spiraled into this. I got more and more into cars, which meant I got more and more filming myself doing cars. And then I kind of took what I learned from making videos with my friends, put that into filming cars, and that's how I got started with Legends when it was my freelance videography business. It's all kind of like a weird spiral. I didn't like see cars and be like, oh, I want to film that. It was kind of just like, I liked cars and I liked filming, and I decided to do it, and it just kind of happened. Okay, last question here. Ralph asks, what are my goals for 2023? And I set goals every year, and we work every single year to achieve those goals, and I'm gonna try something a little bit different for 2023. For 2023, we are going with the flow, and that's weird for me. That's weird for me because I always love to set goals, and I think setting goals is amazing, but I don't want to be hyper focused on anything. I want to have fun in 2023. So let's say the goal for 2023 is to purely have fun. Well, I know that this was a shorter one, but like I said, we've got the final piece of the puzzle coming in for the 280Z, and then more builds will start. This is where we're gonna end today's video. I love just taking the time to sit down and get to really talk with you guys and answer some of your questions, and I hope you guys enjoy it too. But like I said, builds will resume in the next video, so stay tuned. Thank you guys so much. If you haven't already, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Peace out.